Hey everyone, it's time to Netflix and chill. This video is gonna have major story spoilers, so not just for the main questline of the Elder Scrolls Online, but also some of Update 24, Dragonhold DLC, which is the last chapter of the whole Season of Dragon storyline that ESO has put out for 2019, which thus far includes Wrathstone DLC, Elsewhere expansion, and Scalebreaker DLC. So if you guys don't want any spoilers, just get away from this video right now. If you're still here, alright, let's get on with it. So in this video, I'm not going to be talking about the builds, champion points, or whatever, but I thought it'd be interesting to revisit the main questline that pretty much almost every ESO player has done at one point, particularly because for the Dragonhold DLC, we see a familiar face returning back to the game. Swordmaster Sai Sahan, one of Emperor Baron Aquilarios' legendary companions and now captain of the Dragon Guard. We also pretty much know a lot more details about this upcoming DLC because ZeniMax Online Studios accidentally made the Dragonhold prologue quest available a bit too early, and the quest and the dialogue were pretty much exposed before they made it unavailable to the public again. So if you are interested in the beginning part of the Dragonhold story, there is a link down in the description below, though I must say I was a bit disappointed by how they handled Sai Sahan's vague return had you sacrificed them. Wait, what? Now a lot of you may be confused as to why Sai Sahan matters. Just a brief recap. We had the choice to sacrifice one of 3 characters to reactivate the Chim El Adabal, which is the amulet of Kings of Glory that features heavily in Elder Scrolls lore and other Elder Scrolls games, and an artifact we must utilize in ESO to basically beat Moloch Ball in a epic duel. Sai Sahan, Lyris Titanborn, and Baron Aquilarios, otherwise known as the Prophet, were the options. Abner Tharn was the facilitator of the ritual, so he could not be sacrificed, and also he had to release some dragons later. Oopsie. And an early poll and other polls on the official ESO forums showed that an overwhelming majority of the players who voted chose to sacrifice Baron Aquilarius. Then the next would be Sai Sahan or Lyris Titanborn. So it's been controversial, to say the least, for me or others to say, even after all these years, that we chose Sai Sahan instead of Baron Aquilarius. And people are usually like, "You monster, how could you? Baron is old, blind, useless, and he's the cause of everything bad that's going on in ESO." So yeah, we have a lot of information now regarding Dragonhold, what happens after the main questline, like Mana Marco being in Oblivion, Baron or the Prophet sort of coming back at the end of the Orsinium DLC's main questline to basically tell you about the Daedric War involving Clavicus Vile, Nocturnal, and Mephala, which is the Morrowind expansion, Clockwork City DLC, and the Somerset expansion. I'm going to be focusing on why I chose Sai Sahan though as a sacrifice and justifying it within the context of the story at the time and not Baron or Lyris. It's not because Sai Sahan is black, because Redguard lives matter. The first reason I chose Sai Sahan is because he goddamn loves his Snow Lily. He wants that booty, and it's pretty fair of us players to conclude that she does not reciprocate his love. You know this because she's always friend-zoning him in her dialogue, especially when you're trying to rescue him, or avoiding the subject entirely and insisting they're just really good friends. Okay, Lyris, you cold-hearted bitch. Only after he dies does she say, "Oh yeah, I totally loved him, hashtag all the single ladies." So just because he loves her and wouldn't want to live without her anyway, I was like, okay, Sai Sahan, you're moving up the list. Because even if he dies, she'd probably be sad, but wouldn't be heartbroken. In addition to that, the Prophet is his liege, his lord. So he's gladly offering himself up as a noble sacrifice. The second reason I chose to sacrifice Sai Sahan is because he's a very broken man when we meet him. What we're seeing of him is kind of a shadow of his former self. Remember, he's been literally tortured both physically and psychologically for quite a while. We don't really get a specific time frame for this, but it's pretty clear that even he's confused as to how long he was tortured for. The Daedric torture was incredibly excruciating to the point that even Baron says, "Oh, you really need to be a strong dude to endure all that." And he also says later on that he must rest before he continues during the Shadow of Sanctuary quest. He also insists that his body is fine, but that he feels a darkness in my heart, a weight on my soul. I do not know how long this emptiness will remain. Sacrificing him while he's in this current state, I felt, was leaning towards mercy rather than subjecting him to a reality where he's not only suffering from obvious trauma, but the loss of the love of his life, which may end up in his death anyway, from depression, suicide, or recklessness. The third reason I chose Sai Sahan relates to why people chose Varen, or the Prophet as he's called, as a sacrifice. A lot of people blame just Varen for the horrific series of events that have ravaged Tamriel. Tens of thousands dead, an empire in shambles, war, a huge refugee crisis, political instability, otherworldly beings destroying, enslaving, and ripping out the souls of your loved ones. A lot of people, in their sense of moral justice, understandably pin the blame on Varen, who just had to tinker around with the Amulet of Kings, which led to Molag Bal's Daedric invasion of Nirn. But you have to keep in mind that Varen was not the only one involved in his vainglorious quest to become a Dragonborn, or part of the legitimate Elysian bloodline. You have to remember he was betrayed. He didn't foresee the betrayal. If he did, it wouldn't happen. He was betrayed by one of his companions, Mannimarco. You also have to remember the other companions were there who helped him. I mean, we see this from the character introduction on the official ESO website. Meet the character Chevalier Renaud, where they're traveling with him and they're helping him actively, and they didn't exactly advise Varen about Mannimarco, really. Somehow, this dude in a necromancer getup flew under everyone's radar, while we players, if we cast some skeletons from the ground or cast a random ghost, all the guards in Tamriel know about it until we pay up 132 gold. But they let Mannimarco draw the right circles and the ritual, and they didn't bother checking or double checking or asking one of the thousands of other mages from anywhere to double check. Like, come on, that's a pretty shitty job as a subordinate. And a really important question too regarding all this is, would it have worked? Would Varen have been transfigured into what he desired? And the answer is actually yes, because in the quest to rescue Sai Sahan, we can read a journal written by Mannimarco on the Amulet of Kings. In the journal, he said Abner Tharn asked him if the amulet's power could repair the damage, all the damage wrought by the soul burst. And the answer was basically yes. The amulet is such a powerful artifact that enables you to go toe-to-toe with a Daedric prince and win. And in Elder Scrolls Oblivion, it proves to be a crucial tool as well. And you're saying this thing can't magically reconfigure one human a little bit? I think not. So yes, his quest was stupid. Yes, he had a lot of hubris and pride. But it would have probably worked were it not for the stupidity or complacency of his companions and Imperial advisors, or even the betrayal by Mannimarco. Also, on the other hand, if you want to talk about justice, would it not be better for Varen to serve out the remaining time he has into fixing the stuff he helped cause? I sort of find it funny in this case that people want to sacrifice Varen as justice, in the same sense that some people think that killing a brutal murderer with a death penalty is as much justice as, imprisoning him or her in the worst conditions possible to serve out the remainder of his or her life as punishment. Personally, I think the latter is a more fitting punishment, but that's obviously opinion for another day, another video. And this leads into the next reason why I sacrificed Sai Sahan. From that moment on, I figured after witnessing all the grand stuff that Magicka users can pull off, like this Harry Potter laser battle between Tharn and Mannimarco, we'd probably want to keep Varen around. I mean, Sai Sahan, he's a sword master. He's not a sword saint. He's not a sword singer. He's just a dude with a sword, right? Yes, Varen is blind, weathered, but he's also a lot wiser. He's read an Elder Scroll. He's gained some mastery over difficult magic, such as opening up rifts between the plane of Nirn and Oblivion, which is not an easy nor safe feat, as the Vaethir would say. So in the long run, we could utilize his skills, maybe even his legitimacy as a former emperor to perhaps play a part in brokering peace in the Three Banners War in Cyrodiil. Maybe he could at least produce some written records of what really happened, so people in the future don't repeat terrible history. Maybe he could just do more magic. Or maybe none of this matters anyway. I'm really interested in who you guys chose as a sacrifice in the main quest line. Please let me know down in the comments below and share your thoughts, as I'm really interested. As always, thanks for Nefes and chilling. Stay safe, have fun, and see you guys next time.